Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today we're going to freak out about some books. So this is the mid-year book freakout tag, which I do every summer. So this is something that's just fun to kind of check in the middle of the year and see what you've read, kind of reflect on your reading, and then look forward to what's coming up for the rest of the year as well. So it's kind of like a little good check-in. And we're going to go ahead and answer all these questions and see how my reading has been so far this year. The first question is the best book that you've read so far. I've read some really good books, you guys. It's a little hard to choose. I think I'm sticking with this one, but I've read some really good books this year. So it's a little, but I'm sticking with Crescent City for right now by Sarah J. Maas. This is the first book in her Crescent City series. The first one here is House of Earth and Blood. It is an adult fantasy. It's fantastic. So I'm going to stick with this one for now. There are a couple of books that kind of gave it its run for its money, but I think this is still kind of nudging out just a little bit. And so I'm going to say this one so far. Question 2 is the best sequel that you've read. And I've read one companion novel, so that's going to be my favorite, and it was fantastic. I am also reading the sequel to House of Earth and Blood right now. I'm in the middle of it. Literally, I'm directly in the middle of that book. I'm halfway through, and it's fantastic. So that would count as well, but I haven't finished it yet. But for a companion novel, I read Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. This is the companion to Part of Your World, which I read last year. It was one of my favorite books last year. One of my favorite romances ever. Loved it. This was just as good. Loved it. So I would say this would be a sequel, but it's more a companion novel. Question 3 is a new release that you have not read yet, but you really want to. There's a whole lot of them, but I would say the number one staring at me is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Yes. I feel like this is a piece of gold that I need to protect like a dragon. Like, this is mine. No one can touch it. This one has definitely been staring at me, and I definitely want to read it. So this should be coming up here soon. Like, it's 100% in my immediate vicinity radar to read. Question 4 is, what is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? And for me, hands down, that is Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. This is going to be her next thriller book, and her thrillers are some of my favorites of all time. So I am desperate to get my hands on this one when it comes out. I am going to be pre-ordering it. I am so excited for this one. And I can't wait. Her thrillers are just one of my favorite things ever. Question 5 is your biggest disappointment of the year so far. For me, that's The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. This was a 5-star prediction, and I DNF'd it. No. I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings about this one, which you'll find out when I do my official wrap up for our 5-star predictions, but I did not finish this book. I'm going to have a lot to say about it, but this is definitely my biggest disappointment. I really thought that I was going to love this, and not even a little bit. Question 6 is your biggest surprise so far this year, and that is The Soul of an Octopus by Cy Montgomery. This is a nonfiction about octopuses. I did not expect to love this book as much as I did, and I loved it. One of the best nonfiction books I've read, and I was fascinated by octopuses before this book, but after this book, I'm even more interested and just want to read all the things featuring octopuses. I was like watching documentaries and watching all the videos, and they are just fascinating creatures. So this one definitely sparked my interest in them for sure. And I thought it was written so well, and I loved it. Question 7 is favorite new author. Now that could be either a debut author or a new to you. I'm going to pick one for each category. So for debut, I am going to say, speaking of octopuses, Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This is her debut novel that came out last year, and I loved this book so much, especially the audio. I would have loved it anyway, but the audio just cranked it up another notch for me, and I absolutely loved this book. And reading The Soul of an Octopus first was fantastic because it gave me some insight into the octopus, and one of our characters that you get a perspective from in this book is an octopus, and it was fantastic. So it just helped me really imagine everything that he was doing and saying and thinking, and, you know, his mannerisms and his habits and stuff made a lot more sense to me after reading The Soul of an Octopus. So it was just a really great pairing that way. But this is her debut, and I will now immediately buy anything else that she writes. And for a new to me author, this is an author that has published before, but I hadn't read anything by her, and this is my first one, and I want to read a lot more from her. That is Gabrielle Zevin. I read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and I absolutely loved this book as well. This one and Remarkably Bright Creatures are two that are very high up on favorites of the year as well. It's going to be real hard to make a decision later on, but I absolutely loved this book. I thought it was fantastic, and I definitely want to read more from this author now. Question number 8 is newest fictional crush. I don't always get them, but I do have one. Can we talk about Hunt? Can we talk about Hunt? He might be my favorite male character that she's written. He might be. I'm going to stand on that. Yep. He's my favorite. I mean, I have favorites from every series. So we're talking, you know, with ACOTAR, obviously love Reese, and with Throne of Glass, love Rowan and Dorian. Dorian's my favorite character in Throne of Glass. But I loved Rowan too, as far as like the brooding male. But Hunt, I think, beats out all of them, to be honest. I love him so much. I love him so much. Question number 9, newest favorite character. Speaking of, Marcellus. I won't say his full name. I don't want to spoil it, but for those of you who've read this and know his full name, yes, please. Marcellus is my newest favorite character. You guys, I'm not kidding. He's phenomenal. And number 10 is a book that made you cry. I actually have one this year. I am notorious for not crying in books. I don't cry very often. It takes a lot, but Drowning by T.J. Newman, I was crying. Tears were falling from my eyes. I needed a tissue. I was crying in this book. So, number 11, a book that made you happy. Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. Made me so happy. It was so much fun. It was ridiculous and over the top, and I had a blast reading this book. It also made me happy because this is set locally to where I live right now, and it was talking about places that I know and that I have been to. So that was really cool, and it was just so much fun. This is a fun book, and I'm very excited to read the rest of the series for sure. But I did read this one earlier this year and absolutely loved it. Question number 12 is the most beautiful book that you've acquired so far this year. I will say this one for sure. It's so beautiful. This is the whole reason I bought this. I pre-ordered this on Amazon without even knowing anything about it, like because of the sprayed edges. And I was like, oh yeah, I want that. And then it completely blew up, and I'm so glad I have it now. But I would also say, like, something that kind of beats that out a little bit because of how special it is Trust of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I bought into his Kickstarter when he announced that, and I purchased the hardcover editions of these books. And you guys, this book is so stunningly beautiful. It's like leather bound, and there's artwork in here. Let me find a really good, like full page art. And it's stunning. It really, truly is. And yeah, it's embossed, like, oh, it's so gorgeous. Definitely one of those beautiful books I own. Question 13 is, what do I need to read by the end of the year? And I kind of answer this the same way every year, and that is anything on my most anticipated releases list, because I'm trying to make those a priority right now. I really truly am. I haven't read that many of my most anticipated books this year, but I really want to. So I'm trying to make sure I'm looking at that list and picking those up as often as I can, because I am really anticipating them and I want to read them. So I'm going to say anything that's still on that list of books that I'm anticipating. So yeah. And then question number 14 is some content creators that you've been really enjoying. So I will talk about one booktuber and then one that talks about books, but she's not necessarily a booktuber. She has other things on her channel as well. But the booktuber that I have really been enjoying lately is Lena from Lena's Bookshelf. I will definitely obviously leave both these channels linked down below, but Lena is fantastic. I really like her reading taste. We seem to align in some certain areas and stuff. And she seems like a lovely person, and she lives in Virginia, so yay. And I've been really enjoying her. The other one I've really been enjoying is Morgan Long, and she does this professionally. She makes videos. She's a videographer, and her videos are just so relaxing. They really put me in a good mood. They're very relaxing. She keeps it very real as well. She does a lot of discussions about, behind the scenes stuff and things that it takes to do things. And when she's struggling, she talks about it. And she is going through like kind of a big transition right now. And she's being very open and honest about that. But they're very relaxing is the best way that I can say it. But she does talk about books a lot because she is a big reader. And she's an artist and does like all sorts of stuff. So I highly recommend her channel. If you guys haven't watched her yet, I think she's fantastic. And just every time she has a video up, it brings me joy. Okay, and that's going to be it for me today, guys. So that is the mid-year book freakout tag. Let me know some of your answers down below to some of these, definitely. And I will see you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye.